We depressed music! Oh Lord, Trauma made another one. DA got no hope!
Depression took it to 10.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna cry out here?
Imagine having a collab with so many bands just to bring one song, like how DJ Khaled did. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also do not forget to follow me on TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. It is the final episode of 2024. Oh my god. I can finally say props to us because we were consistent this year, but there were like maybe 2, 3, 4, less than 5 breaks that I had to take, but they were much needed. Now I know that I'm like, oh hey, I can do a podcast episode when I'm like free and whatnot and nothing's happening. But whenever it comes to blog videos, we can just skip a podcast episode and do the blog video. So we're learning as we're going with this podcast, and so far, yeah, I'm really glad that we were being consistent, and I got to keep you guys updated this past year with so many things that's been happening in pop culture. But like so far, if I were to think about how my 2024 was, a lot of things have happened. Like I was traveling to my hometown in the beginning of the year and then made a pit stop to Georgia after that. And then I was discovering new places, like meeting celebrities, yeah. And then seeing Slipknot and Slaughter to Prevail back to back. So you can say my 2024 was decent. Last year, it was hectic, it was crazy, definitely worth it. But I'm like, 2024, we have some bumps in the road, but either way, that wasn't going to stop me from living life. But here's the thing. I am very, very hopeful with 2025. Why do I say this? So if you guys listened to the episode from 2 weeks ago, I mentioned at the very, very end, stay tuned for this week's episode because I was going to announce what my next blog video is going to be. And we're going to kick it off with a bang. So the next blog video is going to be happening in January already. And it's going to be during my birthday weekend. So yes, do not expect a podcast episode that week. But I will let you guys know obviously in advance just to be on the heads up. And more reasons again why y'all need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But this is like a big one for me because I never been to this place. It's literally like discovering even more places. So my birthday weekend, I will be in New York City. What the even I'm over here in shock. Like I never thought I would probably set foot in New York only because I hate the city. Obviously I'm in the 4th largest city, but at the same time I'm like, fuck it. Like, you know how they say like once you reach a new level in your life, you can only go so high up? Well, I'm actually gonna go high up, like literally. So the way how I have the blog video structure is that you're gonna be journeying with me as I experience New York City for the first time. I have ideas of where I want to go visit, and no, I know damn well not to be near Times Square because that's basically like tourist area. But I am thinking about just walking around really quick just to see what it's all about and why is there so many people over there. But I will try my best to avoid Times Square as much as possible. I do have like, okay, I want to be like somewhere in that area for one day. The other day I want to be like all the way to the south area of New York City, you know, kind of like where 9/11 Museum is at and the Statue of Liberty. So like I will visit some touristic areas because I mean, come on, it's my first time in New York City. But at the same time, I do want to walk around and see how New Yorkers kind of spend their life. So some of it I'm kind of scared because either I don't know what I'm going to bump into for the same reason that it's new territory for me. But at the same time, it's like exciting because again, I never been. So yeah, I'm going to be in New York City. So that's going to be the next blog video. And if you're already following my social medias, of course, you will stay updated with some of my travel journeys before that blog video even gets posted on YouTube. So more reasons, again, follow my social media while you can. But anywho, back to the podcast. I hope you guys did had a good Christmas or whatever holidays you guys celebrate, or, you know, just some time off. I definitely needed that time off last week, which, by the way, the things that I did literally a week ago, Sunday, I still can't believe it happened a week ago. I'm over here thinking it happened like 2 days ago. And no, I'm like, damn. Seriously, the week went by so fast. But it was a much needed break. Obviously, I got to decompress and I got to enjoy that me time. And then, some of it was spending time with my family and, getting Cosmo trained and all of that. But we are finally going to be wrapping up this year, but we're still going to have to keep you guys updated on some of the things you may have missed this past 2 weeks. So this week we're going to be talking about Nosferatu movie. I actually went to go watch it yesterday. And the good thing, those thoughts are going to be spoiler free, so I'm not going to spoil the movie for y'all. But I didn't get to watch Sonic 3 just yet. Again, it's been so busy for me to where I'm like, let me just go ahead and, enjoy my free time. And then eventually I'll go to the movies. But yes, I do need to watch that movie. It was hella good. We're going to be talking about some of the things here on this episode. Alongside with that, we're also going to be talking about Squid Game Season 2. I literally finished watching it last night. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, no, I'm gonna finish watching the show because it was so fucking interesting. So we're gonna be talking about that, and yes, spoiler free, because I know some of y'all haven't had time to finish the series or probably don't have Netflix, so there's that. And then another thing I'm also gonna be talking about is the finale of Yellowstone. So this series wrapped up 2 weeks ago, so that was whenever the last episode I released. I was like, we need to watch it, we're gonna talk about it. So yeah, and then I'm also gonna be talking about Sleep Token's Teeth of God comic. I got it in the mail literally right before Christmas, so I'm like, yes, finally. So just in time for us to talk about it on this week, and a few more things you may have missed in pop culture. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the final episode of 2024 started. See, and I'm really excited. I'm hyped, but I need to tone it down for a bit because in case if some of you guys didn't hear the news, I really want to just take a minute and throw my thoughts and prayers for everybody who was affected by the tragic plane crash that happened this morning in South Korea. So far, it is said that almost everyone on board died except 2 cabin crew members who are severely injured and are currently in the hospital getting treatment. So hopefully they recover, but it is very sad and unfortunate for everybody else because it was like over 170 people who were officially confirmed dead. So yeah, thoughts and prayers for everybody that was affected. Now let's go ahead and kick off the movies category. And one of the things I mentioned 2 weeks ago, in case if you didn't remember, we were talking about the 28 Years Later trailer. And I also mentioned how at the time you were not able to find 28 Days Later movie either like in any streaming platforms or just anywhere where you can actually either buy it or rent it digitally. And because of that, a lot of people who actually had the physical like DVD or Blu-ray, I think people were selling it like either on eBay or just anywhere on the internet for almost like hundreds of dollars. And people were talking about it on TikTok and I think anywhere else on social media. To the point that the person who actually created the movie decided to finally release it on digital for purchase and rental. And I'm like, hail to the fucking yeah. I thought it was a myth until I went to Amazon Prime and I saw it right there. And I'm like, so yeah, I need to rent it. And I still haven't even done it. I kept saying like, oh, I need to watch it. But I haven't. And I blame everything that I need to be watching, like, Squid Game and then Nosferatu. So yeah. And speaking of 28 years later, supposedly there's going to be another movie that's going to be coming out right after this movie that's going to be coming out in 2025. It's called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. And it is said that this is going to be coming out in January 2026. The only confirmation that we have is that Nia DaCosta will be directing, Alex Garland will be writing the script, and Danny Boyle and Cillian Murphy will be producing the film. So what does this mean? Because I was confused as well and I had to go to the comment section to see what this whole news was about. So basically 28 Years Later is split into 2 movies. So it's the one that's coming out in 2025 and then The Bone Temple is going to come out next year in January 2026. Now I can say next year already. Anywho, let's go ahead and move it along. We already have a movie that's gonna be delayed, and that movie happens to be Matt Reeves' Batman 2. Yeah, oh my god. I have some predictions, but here's the thing. So far, Matt Reeves did confirm that he is finishing the script, and because of that, the filming will be set to begin in summer 2025, so like a couple months ahead. And because of this, Batman 2 is now planned to be in theaters on October 1st, 2027. Oh my god. And for once, the first thing I see is somebody saying, we get GTA 6 before the Batman 2. But again, there's still speculations that even GTA 6 will get delayed, so it's still out there. But no, I feel like, yeah, we're probably going to be getting GTA 6 before the Batman 2. At this point, switch it up, guys. So it's going to be anything before the Batman 2. And since we're already talking about DC news, let's go ahead and talk about the new Superman teaser trailer. We kind of figured it was going to come out, which was 2 weeks ago. And now our doubts with the DC universe is probably laying down to rest. Why do I say this? When I first watched the trailer, which is again available everywhere, wherever y'all want to see it, but it started off a little boring for me until I saw Crypto the dog, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, because I'm a dog lover and everything. But at first I was like, okay, get to the point. What's the story plot gonna be about? And all of a sudden we see Nicholas Hoult being Lex Luthor. I was like, oh my god, he does really well at the appearance compared to Jesse Eisenberg. And I think the difference between this movie and Man of Steel is that we actually get to see other characters from the DC universe in this film. I saw Hawkgirl and I was like, hold up, like, what is she doing here? And then we saw Guy Gardner, so I'm like, oh, okay, we're not just gonna have a typical Superman movie. Like, we're gonna have more superheroes, supervillains, all of that. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. So I'm feeling hopeful, and I think a lot of people can say the same thing, because so far with the reputation of all the DC movies, it hasn't hit. So we'll see how this one's gonna do. So far, that teaser trailer isn't giving us much of details of what the storyline is gonna be all about, but you know, it's the typical Superman saving the world. Also, let the record show, I'm still not a fan of the new Superman logo, so there's that. But we'll keep our eyes peeled on July 11th of this coming year on 2025, and hopefully see if this movie will save the DC universe alongside with James Gunn. Now let's go ahead and move it along. The GOAT Christopher Nolan now has a new name. So he actually got knighted back in December 18, meaning that now his official title name is Sir Christopher Nolan. Yeah, it has a nice ring into it if you think about it. And since we're already talking about him, we finally got the title of his next coming movie, the one that we've been talking about for so many weeks. So far, it is said that it's going to be called The Odyssey. Universal was the one that revealed the title, and they posted on X that this movie is, quote, a mystic action epic shot across the world using brand new IMAX film technology. The film brings Homer's foundational saga to IMAX film screens for the first time and opens in theater everywhere on July 7, 2026. And in case you didn't know, because I never read The Odyssey, by the way, so I had to look it up. But this poem is basically tells the story of Odysseus, which is the king of Ithaca, who struggles to return home after the Trojan War. And the fact that my boy, Sir Christopher Nolan, still does not want to imply some CGI, because I feel like, because I keep reading through it, and so far we might get the possibility of Poseidon and Zeus, the Greek gods. So I don't know how they're going to bring that to life without CGI, but I trust my boy because he is a GOAT. So yeah, I'm already excited for this movie. I feel like it might be a tad bit boring compared to other movies. I mean, for example, some people when they watch Oppenheimer, they wanted to see some action, and that didn't happen. So I'm very hopeful with this movie, but at the same time, I'm praying, hoping I don't get bored, kind of like with the first part of Dune. So there's that. Anywho, so let's go ahead and move it along. I want to talk about Sonic 3 really quick. So we're going to talk about that, and then Nosferatu, and then one more thing in the movies category. So yeah, let's go ahead and skim through it. So keep in mind, I have not seen Sonic 3, but I heard it was good. So far, it did receive over $62 million like on opening weekend at the box office. When I saw the Rotten Tomato score, I'm like, yes, okay, no negative reviews, thank God. So far, the Rotten Tomato score, it is sitting at an 88%. And audience score, it is at a high 96%. We know that Shadow is a simp for Latinas, which is more reasons why I need to watch this movie. There was a video that I saw on TikTok. I don't even remember if I liked it or not. But one person was like in a Shadow costume. I don't even know. And it was like the plushy looking costume. So he's on there and I forgot what restaurant he was in. But he was like, "Is your name Maria?" like to one of the cashiers. And she was like, "No, but we have a cook who's named Maria." And like the guy, he was all freaking out. I was like, "Wait, what?" And it was so funny because he was like, "A Maria named Latina." And I'm like, "Wait a second, what?" Like, it was so funny. He's like, "Oh, wait, hold up. A Latina named Maria, you know." So I'm like, yes, we know Shadow's a simp for Hispanic ladies. So I love it. But here's the thing. The fact that Keanu is voicing Shadow in this movie is the cherry on top of it. I did get to see a clip on TikTok where my boy is watching Spanish soap operas. And then it was so funny because, like, you hear Keanu's voice in Shadow. And Shadow's over there saying, like, "No, this person should kill them both. She's not a prize to be fought for." And I'm like, hell yeah, you know, I'm like, I like this, so I really need to go watch it. I did get to see some other funny clips that's been happening in the movie, like Dr. Robotnik and his dad having like a father and son moment. But there was that one where Dr. Robotnik sees his dad like as Santa, and all he does is just like loses it and jumps towards Santa. And one person just like grabbed that clip, kept repeating it, and she was like, "This is like my highlight moment because there's so many things happening in this 1 second clip." Like, not only Jim Carrey is throwing at himself, you know, him being the other character, but also like Santa not knowing where to hold on and he still fell. And it's like, what is going on? So I kept watching and it was so hilarious. I'm like, I really need to watch this. So hopefully maybe like during New Year's, since I'm off, thank God. So we'll see. But still, let me go back to this whole thing. I did see the end credits thanks to TikTok, and I swear to God, I would have been flipping out if I were to watch it like literally firsthand. I am so excited. And with that being said, Sonic 4 is scheduled to be in the works and planned to be released in 2027. Sweet Jesus. It's gonna be worth the wait. And if you think about it, I'm so glad that Sonic is doing well in the box office after that whole hiatus of a trailer that we first saw in the beginning. But yeah, I'm really excited. If you guys haven't watched the movie, definitely go do so. There are mid-credits and end-credit scenes, and I'm telling you guys, oh my God. I heard on the video like that I first saw of the end credits on TikTok, I heard like everybody in the background just losing their minds. And again, I would have lost my mind, but no, this is what I get for not watching the movie right then and there. So there's that. But anywho, enough about Sonic. Let's go ahead and talk about Nosferatu. So this movie for some reason did really well too, but not at the box office, but Rotten Tomatoes score wise, it did pretty well. So far the Rotten Tomatoes is standing at an 86% and an audience score of 75%, which I'm actually leaning towards the audience score. Why do I say this? So I'm gonna give you guys like spoiler-free thoughts. I'm not gonna ruin the movie for y'all unless if you already watched like the original movie, because it's a reboot in a way. The only thing I want to point out is that Lily Rose Depp did nail the role of Ellen. Like, oh my God, homegirl, her acting was out of this world. I was just looking at her and I'm like, the way how she became Ellen, it was more like, I forget that she's Johnny Depp's daughter. Like, no, like the way how she is like the fear in her eyes for this creature. And also like her being desperate because she was away from her husband for so long. It's like all of that combined, Lily Rose brought it to life. I'm like, sweet Jesus. The only thing I was not expecting was to see her topless. I'm like, really? Like, I didn't need to see all of that. But then again, I also saw the same thing with Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok. And since we're already talking about that, him as this character, same thing, it was amazing. Like, whenever you hear the voice, there's no way you hear Bill on there. The only thing, same thing, like I'm like, oh yeah, it was good, but here's the bad part. Bad part for him, it was just, there were times where I didn't understand a word he was saying. Like, I'm like, I wish I had like subtitles on there. We did have subtitles whenever Count Orlok was over there talking in Latin, I'm assuming. But other than that, I'm like, there were moments that even though like Bill is talking really slow, it's so deep and raspy. And I'm like, what does he say? I had to like understand the storyline just by seeing people's actions and then connecting the dots. But it was just particularly Count Orlok that I was just like, what the hell is going on? William Dafoe though, adorable. There were moments throughout this whole movie where people needed to be slapped, like including Ellen. Like whenever she was possessed, I would have been like, snap out of it, woman, get it together. Your man's all around the corner, he's gonna come back. But she's over there like, he's coming, and then she's like moaning and God knows what. So that was one in particular on my homegirl should have been slapped. But Willem Dafoe delivered when he was slapping that other guy who was Thomas's boss. I was like, finally, somebody slapping somebody. So, yes, that was adorable. Anywho, if you guys are fans to like gothic movies or like vampire movies, I would recommend this to you. But if you're looking for like something more action appealing, maybe y'all shouldn't watch this one. But I liked it. I wouldn't say, oh my god, it's the best movie ever. Because again, the dialogue for me, I couldn't understand it. If I did, I would have been so hooked, which I was. There were some scary scenes here and there. But yeah, I was like, would I watch this again? No, probably not. So those are my 2 cents on that. And then the last thing I have for you guys in the movies category, I have this list from Variety that they're calling it the worst movies of 2024. I find it funny that all the movies that were mentioned on this list, I haven't even bothered watching it. And it's surprising because at the same time, I didn't know they existed. Except for one, I think we talked about it. I'm trying to remember. But anywho, kicking off the list is the movie Pool Man, which actually stars Chris Pine. Basically, it's a person who looks after a pool of an apartment block and is fighting to make his hometown a better place to live. Yeah, I was like, I wouldn't even watch it, even if I saw the trailer. The next one on the list is a movie called Rumors, which actually stars Cate Blanchett. And it says here on IMDb, the leaders of 7 wealthy democracies get lost in the woods while drafting a statement on a global crisis facing danger as they attempt to find their way out. In other words, politicians will consider this a true horror movie classic. I don't even know. Anywho, I'm just gonna skim through the list on here. So the number 3 movie would be Reagan, which you already know it's about Ronald Reagan. The next one is the movie The End. The next one is Lisa Frankenstein, which I kind of figured that one was bad. I did see the trailer and I was like, nope. The other one is the movie called Dogman, which doesn't ring a bell for me. The other one, I've heard of it and I want to say we talked about it. It's just not ringing a bell. It's the movie The Mousetrap. This one was one of the first horror movies that was inspired by the Mickey Mouse Steamboat character, the one that the copyright expired and now anybody can make a movie or just do anything with it, and they did that. I was like, it was this one and then the Winnie the Pooh one movie that I was like, no. But for some reason, the Winnie the Pooh movie was not on this list, but The Mousetrap is on there. Anywho, the other one is Not Another Church Movie. Looks like a parody movie from like Scary Movie or the other movies that existed back in the days. And then another one is a movie called Harold and the Purple Crayon. It's already cringing just by hearing the title. And then lastly, the movie called Rebel Moon Director's Cut. Still doesn't ring a bell for me, so there's that. And again, I'm surprised like the Winnie the Pooh movie's not on here. Another movie on this list, I think some people can agree, will be the Joker Folia Ducks movie. Unfortunately, didn't do well in the box office. And if we're talking box office wise, I mean, you can consider like Madame Web. But then we have, unfortunately, Kraven the Hunter, which I haven't even bothered watching. So, yeah, I can't really say, oh, this is worth watching. But yeah, it did so bad in the box office and then also on the Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm like, yeah, I guess you guys will consider it. But at the same time, I can't really say no or yes because I haven't watched it. There are so many other movies that came out this year that would be considered on this list, but this is what Variety gave. Alongside with this, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the movies category and talk about TV, because they also listed the worst TV shows of 2024. So let's go ahead and kick off with that. And I'm giving you guys this list so that way y'all can avoid watching these TV series if you guys were planning on watching it, because Variety says don't even bother. The first one on the list is Land of Women, which is on Apple TV Plus. The other one is Cruel Intentions, which is on Prime Video. The other one is The Creep Tapes, and this one is on Shudder/AMC Plus. I'm assuming this is like a horror TV series, and I'm like, oh yeah, no. The other one is Universal Basic Guys, and this is on Fox, which I'm assuming on Hulu too. And then we have Good Times, and this one is on Netflix. The other one is Before, that's on Apple TV Plus. Then we have Sausage Party Foodtopia, which is on Amazon Prime Video. You can already tell why did they even make a TV series out of Sausage Party, like, I guess. The other one is Sugar, that's on Apple TV Plus. The Girls on the Bus, which is on Max. And lastly, The New Look, that's on Apple TV Plus. The good thing too, if you guys are on Variety's website, they do have the list of the best things of 2024. That includes movie, TV, and music, but I'm not gonna dive into it, so I'm just gonna give you guys the worst. But anywho, that wraps up the list. Now we gotta talk about Yellowstone. So I have only those two things in television, and that is Yellowstone and Squid Game. So really quick with Yellowstone. So they wrapped up the series, and I wanted to wait once I watch all the episodes just to throw on my thoughts. So keep in mind, it is still considered season 5. It was just the final half to wrap up the whole thing. And we mentioned the drama that happened in the past. Of course, they did mention that Kevin Costner will not be returning as John Dutton. So whenever I got to watch the first episode of this final half, whatever you want to call it, I was like, really? Like, and you could tell like Taylor Sheridan was just rushing the storyline at this point. And we understand it too, all because like, okay, the series is over. Story doesn't make any sense anymore. And at this point, if you think about it, there were so many things that happened that was a little bit over exaggerated. And I'll get to that in a bit. But the moral of the story out of the whole thing, if you guys haven't even watched the whole series and are planning to, maybe skip the next minute or so. But the story just basically ended with the Dutton family selling the ranch. And the whole thing about Yellowstone, like from the first season all up until, you know, the first half of season 5, John Dutton was telling his kids, do not sell the ranch. And what happens? They did. But I get it. Okay, so they basically sold it to the reservation, meaning that they can no longer build anything out of the whole land that was considered the Yellowstone Ranch. So no airports, no casinos, none of that. So it's now they called it a landmark. I don't even remember if that's what it was. But basically it's like, yeah, no, they're not going to be able to do anything with that land, even if corporations really wanted to buy it or steal it, whatever. So I'm like, okay, I guess we have a good story after that. But the other thing is that on some of the episodes, we did get to see Taylor Sheridan's character, Travis, make a few cameos. And you can actually like see the egoistic side of him in this character. Like on one of them, and that's the one that I mentioned before where Bella Hadid makes her acting debut. Like Taylor Sheridan casted her as, you know, his character's girlfriend, making it seem like, oh, he's everything. He got these buffy muscles. He can get any chick. Okay, there was that. But then, like, apparently my boy is good at selling horses and making sure he gets his money's worth. We're talking like horses that are worth more than $3 million. And the way how he's over there showing his way of persuading his buyers is by tricking them, and he's so good at it. Oh, and let's not also forget the card games, whatever the hell they're playing, whether if it's blackjack, poker, God knows what. He's so good at it, and he could get anything he wants. And I'm like, no. Like, it rubbed me the wrong way. And at the same time, I'm like, I guess I'm glad that the series is ending, because even with the first half of season 5, I was getting so bored. Like, it didn't make any sense, and I feel like the storyline was kind of like stuck in a way compared to how it was in season 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. But yeah, season 5, it was like there's no way to navigate the storyline, whether to keep it intense or keep it boring, and might as well just wrap up the series. Either way, this is not going to be the last time we're going to hear about the Dutton story. If you guys remember, 2 weeks ago I mentioned that there's going to be a spin-off series that's going to be focusing on Beth and Rip Wheeler, so we'll probably talk more about that. But enough about Yellowstone, let's go ahead and talk about Squid Game Season 2. It is officially out. Keep in mind, it's only 7 episodes, but each of those episodes is like almost an hour. Except for the finale, I think it was like 57, 58 minutes. So I'm only going to give you guys my spoiler-free thoughts. I'm not going to try to ruin the show for y'all as much as I want to, though, because there's so many things that happen in there, and I have nobody to talk to about it. But my thing is that I started watching it the moment it got released, but then, like, obviously I'm busy and all that, so I haven't had time to actually like finish the series. And then my TikTok all of a sudden wanted to spoil the series for me, and I'm like, no. So I had no choice but to almost pull an all-nighter and finish the series last night at 2 in the morning. So it was worth it, because then I went to sleep, I woke up, and I was like, wait a second, is that really it? Yeah, massive cliffhanger. But in case you guys didn't know, so season 2 is obviously following the events of what happened in season 1, so you do need to watch season 1 in order to understand what's happening. The other thing is that the new characters in the second season carried the show. I was like, damn. One in particular, I'm not gonna say what they did and whatnot. It's Player 120. I forgot the name that they had, but Player 120 is the definition of diva, literally. So I'm like, I wish I could talk to you guys about it. But no, instead I gotta connect with TikTok now and maybe like repost some clips here and there. And yeah, but Player 120 is my favorite. And then we still had the original characters on there. I feel like, though, here's the thing. In Squid Game, the first season, it was mostly focused on Ji-hoon or Gi-hoon. I don't remember how I pronounced it or how they were talking about it in the series. And you know what's so crazy? It's like a full circle moment, because I did review Squid Game the first season, like back when it first came out. So if you guys had time, listen to that episode, but it's gonna sound different than what I sound now. So there's that. But anywho, yeah, on the first season of Squid Game, and we talked about it, and I'll mention it again too in a bit, but it was mostly focused on Ji-hoon. I'm gonna say Ji-hoon for now, or Gi-hoon. I don't know, it'll bounce back and forth. But it was mostly focused on him, and we still had stories from other people, but it just didn't resonate compared to how it was with the season 2 characters. Everybody had their own reason why they decided to participate in the game. And when you hear it, you start falling in love with these characters that you're like, wait a second, I want this person to win. And you're like, wait, no, maybe this person, that person. But at the end of the day, the purpose of Squid Game is that only one person can come out as the winner. There are new games compared to the first season. There's one that you see it from the beginning of season 1, and then you see it again on season 2, but everything else is different, like game wise. So forget what you think you knew about the games. The storyline, still remember that, because it's important. The other thing you guys also have to keep in mind, and we mentioned it before, is that season 3 will be wrapping up the series for Squid Game. So yeah, don't expect, oh my god, season 4, season 5, no. And I wanted to mention it too earlier, but I'm like, hell, it's already in the series itself. They did say that season 3 of Squid Game will be premiering next year, literally 2025. They just don't know what month. And here's the other thing, and I'll get into what I have my theory on in a bit. But if you watch the series, if you haven't done so or you finished it but didn't stay for the credits, there is a mid-credit scene right there. And what I'm thinking is probably a sneak peek of the next game. And people are trying to figure out what the game could possibly be. There are theories. I just don't want to say what they are for the same reason that not everybody has seen the series and I don't want to spoil it. But back to basically the series ending on season 3. So I talked about it back in October of 2021 to be exact. That's when the episode premiered. It's called My Thoughts on Netflix's Squid Game Season 1. Again, I sound very different than what I did now, but it was a lot of growing, more experience, this and that. But I mentioned that this show was really good whenever season 1 premiered. And basically my theory is that I was fearful that if Netflix, greedy how they are and all of that, they will possibly want to extend Squid Game to a point that it becomes boring. And that's a habit that Netflix shows tend to do, where they're like, oh, this is good, we're gonna renew it for I don't know how many seasons, and it dies off really quick. And then if not, there's issues with casting. I mean, look at what happened with The Witcher. Look at what happened with The Nighty Show, unfortunately. Some Netflix shows are just either hit or misses. And Squid Game was a hit. I was just scared that they're going to make 6 seasons and people are going to be bored and the storyline wasn't going to make any sense. So what I said is most of the greatest TV show series are so good that it ends even better when there's a limited amount of seasons. Yellowstone, for example, we just talked about it. It just ended with 5 seasons, but season 5, for example, it just stood there frozen to where it's where should I go? Which storyline should I lean into? And with all the drama that's been happening, behind the scenes, I feel like Taylor Sheridan was just done. He didn't even put his full 100% when writing the script. So with Squid Game, it was I was expecting maybe 5 seasons. But I was surprised when I found out that it was going to end with season 3. And when you watch season 2, it's more like a continuation of the story but split into 2 parts. Basically, that's how I see it. In this case, it would have been 2 seasons, part 1 and 2. But for the purpose of not wanting fans to be all confused, it's going to be 3 seasons. And yeah, whenever you finish the 2nd season, and I think everybody can relate, everybody watched Squid Game season 2 in one day. I didn't. It took me a couple of days only because, again, I was busy and whatnot. But everybody was 7 episodes was not enough. And yes, again, they were hours long, whatever. And I agree. I'm it should have been longer. But I'm also scared even more that season 3 is also going to have probably the same amount of episodes. And yet it's the story ends and people are still going to crave more. But that's the beauty of it as well. The good thing, it will end with a bang. And again, that way it doesn't end all boring and bland. So I'm excited again. And the good thing is that we didn't have to wait 3 years compared to season 1. Because season 1, when it was in the works, it took them 5 years to make the story that it was when it first premiered. And we were thinking, oh, well, the 2nd season was probably going to take another 5 years or God knows what. It took 3 years only for us to finish the series in one day. But season 3 is coming out next year. And I'm really glad, but I'm hopeful too that they don't rush the storyline and we're just what's going on. Some people did say that, yeah, sure, 2nd season wasn't the same as the 1st season, but people were wanting the same language from the 1st season on this one, more serious, more scared, but it was different. That's what I mean. Forget everything from the 1st season except for the storyline, and then have fun watching the 2nd season. There is so many things that happen in the 2nd season where people are bringing it to TikTok, for example. There is a music that is more catchy than Red Light, Green Light, literally. Or the theme of, the red or pink soldiers, whatever, their little, that little melody. People are thinking, oh, that one was catchy. No. We got new things that were in the second season that are worth to be catchy, and I like it. Again, like the song, I don't want to say which song in particular, but those that probably watched the series know what song I'm talking about. It's stuck in my head, playing round and around, you know. See what I did there? But either way, definitely go watch the second season of Squid Game if you haven't done so, and you already watched the first season, by the way. If not, I highly recommend this show. This is probably one of the few shows that I'm really intrigued and interested by when it comes to Netflix. I know I bash on Netflix so much, especially because of the prices and whatnot, but it's moments like these where I would tell you guys, for those that, you know, have to pay for Netflix, it's worth renewing that membership. Even if it's with ads, definitely renew it. Go watch the series, and then after that, go ahead and cancel it, or whatever you guys want to do. But anywho, I'm done rambling about Squid Game. That wraps up the television category. Now let's go ahead and dive into music. And now we got to do a little quick comic review with Sleep Token's Teeth of God. I will admit, when I first got it, I was not expecting a hardcover copy. And I feel like I thought it was just going to be like a plain old, you know, cover, whatever. But no, it was hardcover. And the thing about this book, it's different than any other comic book I have seen. Literally, all you see when you open it, I'm not going to tell you guys every single detail that happened in the comic. I want you guys to read it and whatnot. But like, there's no dialogue on the first few images. You just look at it, visualize it, get the idea of what the story is about, and then boom, you get a page full of written material, which is by this person called the director, which I'm assuming. And because it is handwritten, that's what it gives you. It's not typed or anything. It may be challenging to read from people who don't know how to read cursive. Like, I was struggling for a bit, and then the more I read, I'm like, okay. So basically, it starts off with, I want to say 15 days since emerges of the Loomis anomaly. That's what it says. But I'm not going to read the whole thing because I don't want to spoil the story for you. But just keep in mind, there are 4 episodes. That's what it's called. And the more you visualize it or look at it, it gets worse and worse. If you guys have seen the music videos from Sleep Token, one character in particular from there you will see in this comic. And then the very last written page is actually like, okay, I can read it, like it's in perfect writing. And then they also did include some bonus material. Some of these art pieces, I'm just like, damn, let me scan it and make it as my wallpaper because it looks pretty cool. And then there's also concept art. So yeah, it's definitely worth the money. I think for me, it's the quality of it. The storyline, how it looks, is very interesting. It's so much different than what you've seen in other comics because you're used to seeing like superhero villains, all of that. This story is way different. But again, I love it because to me, it feels like a quick read because I don't like reading comics where I'm flipping the pages and then I'm like, oh great, let me go get another comic. No, like this is all in one book. And there's not that much dialogue, just the part where it's all handwritten. But I highly recommend it. I know the Teeth of God definitely looks like different from the Sleep Token lore, which I was expecting that's what it was going to be, but no, it's a whole different story. So definitely check it out. If you guys already have ordered it and still waiting for y'all's copy, it's coming soon. Apparently they said that they were going to ship it out like during Christmas time, so a lot of people are going to be having different delivery dates, so be patient. Anywho, now let's go ahead and talk about Rammstein. So they released a behind the scenes video showcasing how the crew set up everything during the World Stadium tours that started in 2019 and ended in 2024. I was watching and I'm like, where's San Antonio? Where's San Antonio? The memories. But basically, you get to learn so much that's been happening like behind the stuff while we're over there like losing our minds with Rammstein. But did you know that they hired like crew members from all over the world? Like some of them were probably from Germany and then some American, but then there were other people from different countries and it's like they all got along. I'm like, damn. So you understand that obviously because it was a big massive stage, it would take days to set up and bring down. So I'm like, no wonder, because like when they came to San Antonio, there was like a big gap between like concerts. So it will be like on a Saturday And so like during the weekday, they were actually setting up the stage, and I'm like, damn, if I would have known, I would have actually like gone after the concert and still be able to see the crew members like take down the stage, because yeah, I think it would have taken them maybe 2 days to bring it all down and get it shipped to the next venue. The other thing is that there is so much that goes on during the concert, like during Rammstein's. It's lots of coordination from pyros, lights, sounds. Oh my god. And yeah, as soon as the concert ends, like they waste no time on bringing that stage down. So if you guys want to check it out, the video is available on their YouTube channel at Rammstein Official. The next thing I wanted to talk about is Rockbeat's list of bands to watch in 2025. The new year is almost around the corner, and honestly, when I saw the list, I'm like, yes, he came up with some great bands on here. And kicking off, the first name, Slaughter to Prevail. Yes, I highly recommend this band. It's really good. It's heavy. Of course, Alex Terrible's vocals is, oh my god, top notch. So he put it on first on his list, and I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. I don't know why there's so much hate with Slaughter to Prevail. I mean, I get it, maybe because of stuff that he did in the past, but like as of right now, my boy is like the most humble man ever. I found out that he's currently in Russia trying to train for MMA and actually have his first official match, because apparently like there's rules, regulations here in the States, and Russia's just like, nah, go fight, do it. And then just to make sure that 2025 is going to be a great year for them, and I'm still waiting for the next tour announcement, but they're definitely going to be releasing that new album, Grizzly. So I'm like, yeah, so keep an eye out for Slaughter to Prevail, and you will understand why I love this band so much. I mean, they were my top artists for 2024. Anywho, next on the list is Sleep Token. We were just talking about the Teeth of God. And yes, I feel like there is a lot of momentum happening with Sleep Token. I mean, hell, they're kicking off 2025 with headlining Download Festival like later on in the year. So I'm like, that's a lot of good news for them. And then they already won an award at the Billboard Music Awards from what we talked about 2 weeks ago. The only thing that we don't know is that if Sleep Token will actually release an album in 2025. So I'm like, we'll see. But hey, as long as the momentum doesn't die off, they'll be good. The next one on the list is Bad Omens. And I mean, come on. I really don't need to say much about Bad Omens. I was still surprised that they were on my top list on my Spotify Wrap. But I feel like with Bad Omens, I don't know. I don't want to blame social media too, but their fan base is growing so much. For example, like on my TikTok, I be getting like thirsty videos of Noah Sebastian, and I'm like, no. But at the same time, yes. One of my favorites is the one where Noah's over there dancing the Macarena. But like, I feel like it's because Van's playing. And the way how Poppy sang it, and we talked about it before, it literally has the same beat except in a metal version. But either way, keep an eye out on Bad Omens. And supposedly, we mentioned it too before, there is a possibility they might release a new album in 2025 because they've been leaking like these teasers. But then again, one of them was like a tour announcement in Australia. So I don't know. Either way, keep your eye out for them. The next one on the list is The Plotting You. This one, I never heard of this band. Now I gotta go listen to it on Spotify. But this is what Rockfeed said. It says, The Plotting You have been releasing some of the most compelling songs of the last few years. Vocalist Lander Tewers, I think that's how you pronounce it, has demonstrated a strong songwriting ability across various styles, everything from pop rock to some of the heaviest breakdowns in recent years. I'm looking forward to watching this band continue to grow. So again, I need to see what they're all about. I need to put them on my Spotify list. It's like stuff like this where people recommend me like music to listen to, and it has to be like, you know, rock or heavy metal, because I don't listen to country and maybe other genres. It just depends if it's catchy or not. But it's bands like these where it's like, oh, you never heard of them, but people are recommending it. I'm like, I'm gonna give it a chance. That's what I did this year. I listened to Sleep Token and Bad Omens for the first time, and yeah, I was like, where have y'all been all my life? So anywho, let's go ahead and move on with the list. The next one is Falling in Reverse. This one, they've been on my radar for a while. Whenever I listen to Rollin', I was like, hell to the yeah. And all because Ronnie Radke collaborated with Alex Terrible. If he didn't do it, I might have been like, what's going on? But at the same time, it's the way how the song sounded, like Rollin' itself. It was so good. Like he went from different genres, but it was still heavy metal. And then when I listened to the album, I'm like, yes, this is fucking good. We reviewed it and whatnot. So Falling in Reverse, highly recommend. It's so much different than what they were in the beginning. And plus, Ronnie grew. He's still being hilarious, you know, and sarcastic and whatnot, but he still makes us laugh. The next one on the list is Treaty Oak Revival. Never heard of them, and this one kind of scares me because the first thing I read was country rock. So this is what Rockfeed said. Country rock continues to skyrocket with fans, and Treaty Oak Revival is at the forefront. Vocalist Sam Canty's knack for songwriting has skyrocketed the band from relative obscurity just a couple years ago into the must-see live band in 2025. I expect this band to continue to thrive next year. That one I'm like kind of skeptical to listen because I'm not a fan of country. I literally just said it a couple minutes ago, whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, look at All My Life with, you know, Falling in Reverse. I call it Yeehaw course, so we'll see. I'll probably listen to it, give it a chance. If I don't like it, then I don't like it. Who knows? And then the last band on this list is Lakeview. I think I heard of them, but at the same time, I don't know. So this is what it says. Their self-titled album was outstanding this year. Touring with Breaking Benjamin and Stain this year was brilliant as it introduced Lakeview to a massive audience of likely listeners. If the band continues to develop this country rock sound, I could see them becoming a force to be reckoned with in rock music. And I'm like, really? Another country rock? I guess. And yeah, they're actually touring with another band. I already forgot, and we talked about it 2 weeks ago. But anywho, yeah, so those are the recommendations that Rockfeed has. Do what you will with that information. But let's go ahead and move it along. Imagine going to see the band Bleeding Through, and then all of a sudden, M. Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold just makes an appearance. It's like, what the hell? But yeah, he went ahead and joined with the band. But I cannot help but to notice my boy was wearing a long sleeve Ghost sweater, whatever the hell, it's a shirt. I don't know, but I'm like, it's Ghost. I'm still loving the fact that, you know, bands support each other and whatnot, but I'm still waiting to see if they will collab with Ghost. Just saying. Anywho, and now it's time for some tour announcements. It's funny because Avenged Sevenfold is touring with this band that happens to be System of a Down. So they announced the Wake Up South American Stadium Tour. They're going to be kicking this off on April 24th of 2025 in Bogota, Colombia. And then they're going to be in Lima, Peru on the 27th, Santiago, Chile on the 30th, and then Buenos Aires, Argentina on May 3rd. Then we have 3 stops in Brazil, one in Curitiba on May 6th, Rio de Janeiro on the 8th, and then Sao Paulo, Brazil on the 10th. So if you guys are interested that are in Brazil, tickets are now on sale. The next tour announcement is from Ice Nine Kills. They are calling it the Silver Screamathon, and they're actually going to be performing both albums from the Silver Scream and Welcome to Horrorwood. 2 albums, 2 nights. And they're going to be starting off the tour in Toronto, Ontario on April 26th. But that date specifically, they're going to be joined with Metallica, so they're not going to be able to do the 2 albums, 2 nights. But if you're in Raleigh, North Carolina, you guys are going to be able to see that performance on both April 30th and on May 1st. I was surprised to see that Houston got a stop, so they're going to be stopping here on June 1st and June 2nd at the House of Blues. And then after that, they're going to be going to Atlanta, Georgia on June 4th and June 5th. Interesting. They also did announce that they're going to have the Thrasher RIP upgrade. Get it? See what they did there? And this one will be including an individual photo with Ice Nine Kills, limited edition string lights, and apparently they're different each night. They also include an exclusive tote bag and RIP password, if I'm reading that right. Record flat for album of the night and souvenir RIP laminate with lanyard. Early entry is also included. So if you guys are interested in going to see Ice Nine Kills, the tickets are now on sale. The next tour announcement is called Hollywood and Nine Returns. So basically, Hollywood Undead will be co-headlining with Tech Nine, joined with special guests Set It Off and 0936. The bummer about this tour is that there is no Texas stop. What? So they're going to be kicking off the tour on April 6th at Reno, Nevada. And I feel like these are like rural areas. But yeah, no Texas stop whatsoever. They're going to be ending that tour on May 9th at Sayreville, New Jersey. All right, and then the next tour announcement, I feel like this is common for Static X, but they announced their Machines vs. Monsters Tour 2025, and they will be joined with Gore, Dope, and A Killer's Confession. Again, this tour does not have any Texas stop, but they're going to kick off the tour on May 23rd at Tucson, Arizona. I can't believe they're even having an Albuquerque stop on here. But they're going to be ending the tour on June 18th in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. But I can't help but to notice there's this big TBA on the June 12th show. What's all that about? And actually, I saw the comment section because I actually saw this announcement on Knotfest. Everybody's also complaining that there's no California stops either. So, I don't know. Tickets are on sale for that one as well. The next tour announcement's a little bit different compared to other announcements that they have made. This one is Starset, but this is the acoustic event. And these, they do have a lot of dates. There are 3 Texas stops, one in El Paso, one in San Antonio, and the other one in Dallas. Of course, I'm not surprised. But they're going to be kicking off the tour on February 26th in Columbus, Ohio, and ending it on April 9th in Cincinnati. Here's the thing though, it does say on here that there are limited passes that can be purchased through Starset's official website. So I guess there's limited attendance as well. So if you guys are huge fans of Starset, definitely go check it out and do not miss the opportunity. I unfortunately only know a few songs for Starset, but I will not probably go to the acoustic set only because there's not a Houston stop, so there's that. And then we have another band celebrating their 25th anniversary, and that is Fozzy. I was like, damn, I did not know Chris Jericho had this band for 25 years. But anywho, they're gonna be joined with special guests Lilac and The Nocturnal Affair. They're gonna be kicking off this tour on April 17 at Springfield, Missouri. And of course, no Texas stop, one California stop, and that's going to be in LA on April 25th. And then they're going to be ending the tour at Wyandotte, Michigan, I want to say. And that will be on May 12th. If you guys are interested, the tickets are also on sale now. And then the last thing I have for you guys in the music category is the lineup for Milwaukee Metal Fest. It is different than your typical set list. It's only going to be for 3 days. It's going to be from May 16, which is on a Friday, all up until May 18 on a Sunday. So far on May 16, we have Down, Kimaria, Enslaved, Paradise Lost, Suicide Silence, and more. Trust me when I tell you guys this, some of these bands I never heard of, nor I cannot read their logos. That's what I'm saying, and more. And then on Saturday, May 17, we have Black Label Society, Devin Townsend, Exodus, 3 Inches of Blood, Obstruction, and more, because I never heard of these people. Oh, well, and Tesseract, I heard of them. And then on May 18, we have Gore, Arch Enemy, The Dillinger ESC Plan. I want to say this is Scour, Sacred Right, Trouble, Harm's Way, Frozen Soul, we heard of them before, and more. So if you guys are interested, tickets are now on sale. And that wraps up all I have for you guys in the music category. I only have one thing in the gaming category, and that is Skibidi Toilet. What? So we're delayed on this, obviously, because there wasn't an episode last week, but Skibidi Toilet showed up to Fortnite. Really? Oh my god. It's like, what does Fortnite not have? Well, Did Slipknot collaborate with Fortnite? Or, Ghost or even Slaughter to Prevail? I don't know. But yeah, like there's so many characters just showing up on Fortnite and I'm like, damn. And people are crazy obsessed on having every single skin on there. I don't know if it's still available. I just remember it was on December 18 when they had it available. And when I went into Fortnite's website, yes, I went to their website, not to the actual game, and see if they actually had the skin available, but I didn't find it, or maybe I was scrolling too fast. But either way, Fortnite is always trying to find ways to connect to every single demographic out there. So all I'm saying, Ghost and Slipknot, maybe Slaughter to Prevail. I don't think Rammstein would do it. But anywho, that's all I have for you guys in the gaming's category. Now let's talk about wrestling. We are overdue on the whole new Raw gets a logo and all of that. But I was surprised they also had a kickoff show to it. And we got to see Kevin Owens show up with the Golden Eagle belt. And I'm like, hey, they're not retiring the belt anytime soon, which is good, I guess. It gets to see the outside world for a bit. And I'm talking about the belt, not Kevin Owens. But yeah, they had that kickoff show, and the thing that I really loved the most, and I'm so mad that I missed it, I only found out through TikTok too, was that they asked CM Punk, and I think it was Michael Cole, saying like, hey, what was the favor that Paul Heyman promised? And CM Punk, the man that's so unserious, he was like, well, the promise was that he was gonna lend me his Netflix password. And I'm like, my boy. And this is the kickoff show, by the way, when Raw is going to Netflix. So yeah, I don't know, but I'm mad that I missed it. But either way, I'm happy about the new logo that's coming out. It looks pretty cool, very modernized. But my thing is that whenever they were doing the kickoff show for, Raw on Netflix, the microphone was different compared to what we were used to. So if you haven't noticed, like the traditional WWE microphone is technically like a square, right? When they did Raw on Netflix, it was more like a cylinder, a circle looking one. And don't get me wrong, it looked nice, again, very modern looking. But is that going to be the official microphone? Let me find out. But anywho, with the good news that, Raw is going on Netflix, WWE announced that both Raw and SmackDown are gonna be 3-hour shows. I'm like, let's go! And I feel like, though, Raw is gonna get, like, a big time push when it comes to viewers, especially on Netflix. But before I get ahead of myself, let me talk about what happened this past Monday. So congratulations to the War Raiders for winning the WWE World Tag Team Champions. I was not expecting for the Judgment Day to lose it right then and there, but all thanks to, Damian getting his little revenge and distracting both either Finn Balor or JD McDonough. Literally because of that helped the War Raiders secure the win. And again, I'm like, now that the Judgment Day lost, some of the gold, could that possibly eventually happen with Liv Morgan? And that's where I'm trying to get to. Because one of the matches that's going to be happening for the first night of Raw on Netflix is Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the World Women's Championship. And everybody has their hopes that, yes, Rhea will win. And with that being said, because, Raw needs to be entertaining, they need to have Mommy as champ because she's really great. Like, she has this great chemistry. She's good as a champion. And everybody's so engaged when Rhea walks in. But when Liv Morgan walks in, it's like she still needs some help, God knows what. But I'm like, if that were the case, now that, again, Finn and JD don't have the tag team belts, and if Liv Morgan were to lose that championship, what's going to happen with the Judgment Day? Because shit's going to be really interesting now that they don't have any gold. So I can't wait to see how that storyline is going to go. But the other match that is also scheduled for, Monday, that's going to be Raw on Netflix, is CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. So everybody's like saying, oh my God, they're going to have like a mini WrestleMania because these matches so far are cooking. Let's not forget the one with Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa finally handling, the bloodline business and who gets to be the tribal chief, kind of like that. But people are still predicting that maybe The Rock's gonna show up, and then we're finally gonna get that WrestleMania storyline that we were supposed to get 2 years ago. Well, about to be 3. So yeah, I don't know. But CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, it's really hard to choose who's gonna win because they're both that great. I have a feeling though something's gonna happen with Drew McIntyre maybe interfering because he still has that beef with CM Punk. And I'm wondering, maybe potentially, what if Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre end up, making a team? That would be something else. And that would put the locker room in the tag team division on notice. But either way, I'm excited. It's not going to be tomorrow, by the way. It's going to be next week. I can't wait. But I'm just praying and hoping that Netflix isn't giving us technical issues or, like that loading screen. Just like when Jake Paul was going up against Mike Tyson. Let's just hope everything runs smoothly. So, yay, I'm excited. And then the other thing I also wanted to talk about, in case you missed it, there were a lot of things that were happening at Madison Square Garden this past weekend with WWE. So it was a live event. You already know everybody like in the WWE roster can do whatever the hell they want, have fun with the crowd and whatnot. And it's things like this where I wish I got to see it. Why do I say it? Because on one of the videos that I got to see was that CM Punk came in a towel and a shower cap trying to go help out Damian Priest because he was being attacked by Ludwig Kaiser and Dominic Mysterio. And all you see is my boy, holding the towel, rushing to the ring. And he's over there literally fighting Ludwig and Dominic while in a bathrobe. I did get to see the shower cap fall off. And I was like, no, not the shower cap. Like, what the hell? But also at the same time, I was kind of curious if, there was anything covering inside that bath towel. I don't know. Did I say robe earlier? I don't even remember. But yeah, it was a bath towel. Sorry. And either way, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have seen it. There was another one where Braun Breaker was literally looking into the crowd. And he was like, that's one ugly dog, whatever. And then the camera just pans and all we see is a literal dog. And the dog started barking back at Braun, and everybody in the comment section was like, bro took that personally, and then everybody was like, what the dog do, like typical meme and whatnot. But I was like, damn, they were having a lot of fun. And honestly, that storyline between the dog and Braun Breaker, that would have fed families, just saying. Anywho, and then the other thing I also wanted to talk about is that we finally have the first official match for Royal Rumble. And I say first because we already know that we're going to have the men and the women's Royal Rumble for that PLE. But no, like an actual match. So it was confirmed that Cody Rhodes will go up against Kevin Owens for the WWE Undisputed Championship. And so I'm over here like, okay. It was intense. I kind of predicted it. So I was telling my friend, Fiend Warrior 39, shout out to him. I was like, it's going to happen at Rumble. But at the same time, we kind of wanted it before. But no, it's going to happen on Rumble. And my thing is that like a lot of people are now turning against Cody. Everybody is like leaning more towards the favor of Kevin Owens. And there is a possibility that he might win this championship. But then again, like corporate wise decision, it would make sense that Cody should retain. I don't know though, but there's a possibility. Again, I have a feeling that Cody's gonna turn heel eventually. He's gonna have to, and maybe bring in the Homelander gimmick, something like that. Cause I mean, come on, there's that. I don't know. There's so many things that could happen with that storyline, but at the same time, it's interesting. Only to see that, yeah, maybe Kevin was in the right when it comes to the bloodline. And then eventually, who knows? Maybe, again, he's probably going to go up against Sami Zayn. Because he did say Sami for later. Or he might team up with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre if they do, make a team. That will be probably the most craziest team up, faction, whatever you want to call it, because they're all so good. You know what I just realized? What might happen? But no, it wouldn't make sense. A lot of people would be pissed if this were to happen, because usually either the men or the women's Royal Rumble is going to be left for last. So let's say, hypothetically, the men's Royal Rumble is going to be the main event for this PLE. What if Cody were to lose the championship And Homeboy decides to, pull a Becky Lynch and insert himself in the Royal Rumble and possibly win for the third time in a row. And some of you guys are like, no. And I agree. No, it doesn't make sense. But hypothetically, mark my words, just saying. But we'll see how it's going to happen. Already, I'm excited for Royal Rumble. Unfortunately, it's not going to land on January like it usually does. It's going to be on February. So I'm like, I guess. Oh, well. The last thing I have for you guys before I wrap up this episode is just 2 comebacks in AEW. One of them was the rated R superstar Edge, which I can't believe that I saw him come back at Royal Rumble like back in 2020, and now he's coming back at AEW like 4 years later. So sad. But it looks like he's gonna go up against Jon Moxley eventually for the AEW World Championship. So far, the only match they did confirm and they created a new faction is rated FTR. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen on Dynamite on Wednesday. And then the best comeback of all, literally, it's me singing, "War is over." Kenny Omega is now back. And I'm like, damn, I wonder how that storyline's going to go and who he's going to feud with. So I finally can watch and enjoy AEW again. But we'll see, because again, now that SmackDown and Raw are going to be 3-hour episodes, I'm like, ooh, I wonder if AEW needs to step it up. So anywho, and that was it. That was the last thing I have for you guys. So without further ado, that wraps up this week's episode. As always, make sure to follow my social media accounts at It's Lielers on Instagram, Threads, and X, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at It's Lielers. And also do not forget to follow my TikTok at Lielers. Lielers on TikTok. I posted 3 videos this past week. I was literally I'm finally gonna upload some videos on TikTok, because I usually post on Sundays for the podcast announcement, but I'm like, no, let's post some videos. One of them actually did get a lot of engagement. Is actually Godzilla in the 2K24 video game, from WWE. And Homeboy has the Hulk Hogan gimmick, and he's over there winning the WWE Championship. And I put, bro got tired destroying buildings. So yeah, everybody was reacting to that one. And then a few other videos with some trends that are happening right now. So I just decided to insert the sound with stuff that I had already on my camera roll. So definitely go check it out if you guys haven't done so. So yeah, but follow me on my TikTok. Subscribe to the YouTube channel again, because we're going to have that vlog video coming soon next month. Oh my God, I can't wait. But yeah, that actually wraps up the last episode of 2024. So, oh my God. I will admit though, I'm really happy with the growth that we got. Obviously, some of it had to be with me contributing, making sure that I upload every Sunday. What I have in store for next year is something that is going to be very challenging for me, because it is very time consuming, but I'm praying and hoping I do end up doing it. And that is probably video podcasts. Yeah. It kind of sucked for me just saying it, because why? It takes a lot of time to record this podcast, just so y'all know. And this is just audio, so you can already imagine how it is in video. How I mentioned earlier, if you guys actually do listen to the Squid Game review from season 1, you will hear me stumbling a lot, because back then I didn't edit my episodes. Now I do, and that's why they come out so long. But again, you barely hear a little stumble here and there. But at the same time, I'm like, can you imagine me doing it in video? It's gonna be really hard. But I really want to grow this podcast, and I know people get bored just hearing audio. And the only reason why I want to do it on the YouTube channel is because you get to see the visuals of the things that I see. So it's going to be interesting to do it, but we'll see how it's going to go. I'll try it out for the first month, and then if not, I'll probably do audio. But I really, really want to try it and see how I can grow this podcast. So, and that will actually consist of me doing some of these recaps on the episodes that you may have missed and upload them throughout the week. So yeah, let's see how that's going to go for next year. But I really do want to grow this podcast, because I'm so happy and grateful that I have so many listeners now. So yeah, compared to how it was back in 2021 when I first started, yeah. So that's why I'm like, go check out that one episode. Just saying. I think when the Squid Game review came out, that was basically episode 42 from what I saw. So yeah, we've come a long way since then. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube channel. That's why I'm like, please subscribe now while you can. And keep your eyes peeled on the first episode of 2025. I'm so excited. So again, guys, be safe out there. Of course, it's the New Year's. A lot of people are popping fireworks. I don't know if you heard earlier, my neighbor's already popping fireworks, so you might have heard a bang or so. So there's that. But be careful, again, because they can be very distracting on the roads, or you just never know if those are actual gunshots. So anywho, I hope you guys had a good 2024. Be safe, have fun, and I will talk to you guys next year. I know I hate saying it, cringes me out, but yes, I will talk to you guys on the next one.